Hi, and welcome. I'm back with the letter series. This one about a common sense appeal to the conservative voters. Collaborated by RT and RH, read by Trinity AMC. There are those of us that believe the conservative parties are our own worst enemy. We're not talking about Republicans, Tea Party members, libertarians, constitutional conservatives, or any other group claiming to be conservatives. We're talking about all members of all conservative parties. For example, let's look at the last presidential election. Barack Hussein Obama was reelected to his second and thank God his final term. The young conservative voters, those under 25 years of age, stayed away from the polls by the hundreds of thousands because they wanted Ron Paul to be elected for president. Many other conservatives of all ages did not vote only because their candidate did not win the Republican nomination. Millions, yes, millions of Christian conservatives stayed away from the polls because Governor Mitt Romney is a Mormon. The Republican National Committee refused to fund conservative Tea Party candidates in all elections nationwide. We would also like to challenge the conservative Democrats that have a proud heritage given to them by their parents and grandparents to vote Democrat at the polls. The proud Democratic Party of your past family members is not the Democratic Party of today. Remember your roots, but also remember the principles that the Democratic Party used to stand for. Also, remember this. President Ronald Reagan once said, "I did not leave the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left me." The common sense of what happened 2 years ago and continues today is there is no common sense in any of our past and present decisions as conservative Americans. We are proud. We believe in our founding principles and our freedom. We pride ourselves in being self-sufficient in all things that we do. Let's all try not to be self-centered in our political decisions. We, the people, need to elect a conservative president, conservative senators, and conservative representatives together as one party. Whether it be a man, a woman, a black, a Hispanic, Asian, or whatever religion or sect. We can email each other, call each other on the phone, or send letters of discontent to our new conservative leaders after they have been elected to office. The alternative is a continuation of the socialist darkness our republic has experienced. Common sense will prevail if we only open our eyes and see it. Live free or die. What happened to America? The sleeping socialist state? We the people are the ones that have allowed all of this to happen. We the people allowed political correctness to be forced upon us by a minority because one person was offended by an innocent comment. The entire nation is forced to abandon common sense and demeanor. And then people began seeing this political correctness push as a way to start avoiding self-responsibility, stating that they were the subject of political incorrectness, and it pushed them over the edge. And so they rob a bank, they rape an innocent girl, they murder an innocent victim, and blame guns. Nothing is a liberal's fault. It's always someone else that caused them to commit an awful crime. Today, liberals blame a gun for the rampage of Hollywood, of the Hollywood privileged punk, son of a super wealthy movie director parents, for a cold blooded, premeditated murder of several innocent people. Well, the gun didn't make the YouTube video and tell the entire world that it was going to murder innocent people. And the gun didn't drive a black BMW to the locations where the innocent people were killed in cold blood. The gun didn't point itself at the innocent people, and the gun certainly didn't pull its own trigger. There are some liberal politicians and a few so-called conservatives who argue that if every citizen who owns a firearm legally would turn them in, then all criminals would do the same. Really? Criminals do not obey the law, hence the term criminal. Illegal alien, another term that is self-explanatory. Illegal, criminal. Well, no more free ride of food stamps, access to public schools, free health care, etc. Alien, not an immigrant. If they were an immigrant, they wouldn't be illegal. It's a no-brainer. It's easy to understand. The United States is a Christian nation by a large majority. It will always be that way. Many people who want to falsely announce that there is no longer a Christian nation and that Islam has played a huge role in the developing of the United States. These false statements by any American conservative politician would have brought the mainstream media to demand an inquisition of that person. But if a liberal politician made the states, as in the case above, he is applauded and held on high by the MSM and fellow liberals. The minority demanding that this individual making the false statement should lead what was once the most powerful nation and military in history? Now we have an AA credit rating instead of the AAA rating we had in 2008. We have a $17 trillion deficit, a $9 trillion in 2008, plus 129 plus trillion of unfunded liabilities. 5 years ago, the unfunded liabilities block on the national debt clock didn't even exist. So, there is no argument that this nation is on a spiral downward at a very alarming rate. As of this date, every taxpayer in the United States owes 1.1 million in unpaid liabilities that this government has attained and has placed this burden on the American people. Every American, taxpayer or not, owes over $55,000 to the government. So, are you better off now as a nation than you were before 2008? America the beautiful, home of the free because of the brave. The end.